Welcome back, gents. Terrible reasons to be seeing all your fine faces again, but another abysmal. I thought this was going to be one of those, we might lose, we might nick a draw, but it would be a bit of a dead rubber, nothing to speak about. But you get smashed like that, and suddenly this is a massive, massive game for me again to talk about. What are you saying, boys?
If I may, one word, fucking disgrace. Well, that's two. They're a disgrace to the badge. They are a disgrace to the fans. They are a disgrace to the people that put the shirt on before them. They are a disgrace to footballing professionals. They are a disgrace to the manager, and the owners have allowed it. If you think about what United have become, it's a fucking disgrace. We have injured Pogba doing dances while he's injured. We have Lingard running around saying that he deserves a send off. For doing what, big man? You have done nothing in the game. Pogba's flirting with Man City while dancing in a United shirt. The United as a whole concept right now is a fucking disgrace. And anybody that picks a player to defend or says that we need XYZ to make us play better, or the manager when he comes in he could do this, that, and the other to make us play better, you're a disgrace too. Because this whole United as a concept right now are a disgrace. There isn't a player that is safe. All of them are a disgrace, and that's where I'm at with it.
I think for me, look, the fans need to look at this. The player FC agenda that has to die. Player FC, it needs to end here right now. Lowest points in the Prem. Most goals conceded in Premier League history, in fact. And what is it that people will be talking about? As you said, Terry, in the spaces, people are going to be talking about McTominay. People are going to be talking about Varane. Let's just cut the crap. Honest to God, we need to back Ten Hag and back him properly and forget about these jokers. These guys, as I was just said earlier, aren't fit enough to wear the shirt. That was such a disgrace. It was like watching an under-9s team and a poor one. They just ran through them. Just taking the piss. Taking the piss. This is Brighton, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Graham Potter, really good team. Tactically, not a bad team. They've beaten Arsenal. They've beaten Spurs, I think. But that was just taking the piss. It really was. And the guys should hang their head in shame.
Jinky, great point there about this. And I want to reiterate this. I don't care about the trolls and rivals and stuff. And rivals just want you to say, well, your players are crap and trash and there's none of them got any ability. But this isn't about defending McTominay. He was awful. I tweeted he should have been taken off. I don't understand how he's surviving on the pitch. But what are you saying to this, Danny? Because you're in spaces a lot more than me and you're listening to Man United fans. This incessant behavior of almost thinking, just get rid of McTominay, get rid of Maguire, get rid of Rashford, and we become a better team overnight. Surely people have got to wake up and smell the coffee here, that this is a much deeper issue.
Yeah, so I saw the first 3 minutes. Brighton was on the wall within 3 minutes. I went to go do something, come back, 1-0 down. Look on the TL, tell us McTominay is mostly what I saw. But then from the moment of the goal, I just saw a Brighton team that was just better, pound for pound, than the Man United team. That they were through the middle if they wanted to, switches of play. So I asked the question. You could talk about McTominay and Tellers. Why do Brighton not have a better team? Naturally, people say you're defending Tellers and McTominay. No, it's just a question. Why does this team look so crap? And this is the reality of the situation. And of course, look, I'm just a football fan with an opinion, right? But I have to hold my hands up there. I thought it would be a good idea to hire Ralph Ragnick as the interim manager. I thought it would be a good idea. We all saw the players down tools from Liverpool. We kept Ollie in charge for too long. We know whose fault that is, etc., etc. But I actually thought Ralph Ragnick would do a good job as an interim manager. The problem is, Terry, right? We know with these players, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile because they're a bunch of fucking bums. We know that. So in hindsight, what I didn't realize is that having the consultant be the interim manager is a conflict of interest. All he's done from day one is throw these bums who you don't have to give an inch to under the bus and talk about needing 10 new players and a rebuild. From October, he's been telling them, you guys are done. So these bums, the way they've responded to that is, okay, fine. We're down tools. Not straight away. Ralph Ragnick was coaching 3 to 4-0. Then once the Atletico Madrid came, once it became clear, right, FA Cup done, Champions League, we can't rely on Ronaldo to finesse that. The reality set in. These players knew at that point, all right, we're getting a new coach. Ralph Ragnick is like, I'm going to be paid for 2 years after this. Let me line up another job. Just too many conflicts of interest. Players leaking stuff to the media through their entourages. Other players knowing they're going to leave at the summer. Basically, what you have is a group of players who there's no goal for them, right? What's the goal? Top 4. They've been there, done that. Doesn't mean anything. There's been no direction, and ultimately, Terry, no ambition and no accountability. And let's be honest, the lack of accountability, we know where that comes from. People don't like it. We should just focus on the players, just focus on the coach. I'm happy to do that. Let's talk about the players for half an hour. Let's talk about Ralph Ragnick for half an hour. Let's also talk about the MLS coaches, for those who spoke about coaching for 3 years but don't want to speak about it now. Let's divide time to that. Then can we talk about what's happening above all of those things as well, because they all deserve equal.
And I get that completely. I still hear people say things like, "Oh, you saying Ollie should have stayed?" No, Ollie should have gone. But I completely said at the time, sacking him without a structure at the club will not make us better. And yes, I thought Ralph would get more out of these players. I didn't believe that they would do this to him. I didn't believe the club would allow them to do this to him. I now look back and think, do you know what? We should have broke the bank to get Ten Hag out of that contract in November, because then this is what's going to be here. But even with Ten Hag coming in, and people don't like this because they see it as negative as opposed to reality, I'm not even that excited, because I believe these players and the new ones will be corrupted. They will do this to him in the exact same way again as well. And we'll start off well. It will look better. It will feel better. And this is the response you'll get from fans. I'm sorry about the voices, but it'll be, see, I told you, as soon as they got structure and coaching, fucking flying, mate, flying. You're not. You know, for me, I don't care what happens in the first 3 months, 6 months, even the first year. I'm focusing on the next 5-6 years, how this club progresses and develops. I'm about the long-termism when it comes to this football club, opposed to just looking good in the first 3 to 4. Of course, when we're looking good, I'll go, oh, I'm happy. I'm not going to be down. I'm not going to be league gunner and not celebrate until we get to the top of the mountain. But people have got to slow down with this stuff. And as we've said many, many times before, this fan base and these people, you can tell even now, but if Man United got beat 4-0 in a decisive game, this would be one of the biggest shows in Terrace history. A lot of Man United fans have switched off. A lot of United fans I've messaged today, fancy coming on, but like, I'm going out. I'm not watching the game. I'm not involved. But for me, I agree with what all of you have said. This is about the club stopping player power and really support. And my anger really is around Erik Ten Hag. And I'm fearful that this is going to happen to him. And it's almost why I don't want to allow myself at any point to get too excited or get too carried away.
But that's where for me, I think it's so important this summer that you get these bastards out. Look, we've talked about half these players being a problem, leaking, this, that, and the other. Get them out. And this has been the problem for the last several transfer windows. We've not got these people out. Jesse Lingard, in fact, the problem was because he should have gone to West Ham last summer. He should have. But silly promises were made to him, which then continued this ridiculous theme for nearly now going on to 12 months. And now we're crying, or families are crying about him not getting a standing ovation at Old Trafford. We need to stop doing this. To be fair, this might have been an Ed Woodward thing where you keep prolonging these contracts and trying to extend. Now, let's just get them out now. That's when I will see some changes for me.